After having the credibility of good knowledge and good expertise and body language, the next most important component of conveying gravitas is the language that you use, the words you select and the way that you say them. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't mumble, babble, prevaricate, or apologise for the things that you say. In this video, I want to talk about how to use your language to deepen your gravitas and gain the voice of authority. First, say it with questions. We judge people more by the questions they ask than by the answers they give. By your questions shall you be judged. People with real gravitas are able to ask the questions that unlock new answers, new ways of thinking. So focus more on asking good questions and listening to the answers than on being able to answer other people's questions. And the best questions are the ones that are about what and how. What questions uncover distinctions and connections, and how questions set out processes. The other types of questions that can be really valuable are what-if questions, which set out scenarios and consequences, and why questions. Why questions are hugely powerful and therefore potentially dangerous. If we ask why questions about a situation, we can uncover cause and effect, and that makes them good questions to ask. But the why questions to avoid are why questions about people and their motivation, because all they tend to uncover is defensive behaviour because they appear to set out blame. So use why questions with great caution. Use them about events and circumstances and situations, but avoid using them about people and choices and motivations. For best effect, ask questions that are oriented towards the future. Questions about what's going on now and questions about the past can be valuable in uncovering reasons why things happened, histories. But the most insightful thinkers tend to be future-oriented and are looking for what the choices are, and future-oriented questions are usually the ones that best allow us to focus on uncovering new choices. And finally, if you don't feel you're getting enough information, but you're not sure what the right question is to ask, then can you say more about is a hugely valuable invitation to expand on an answer. It's the question that can go deeper. Second, whatever you say it with a rich and relaxed voice. I've spoken in other videos about the importance of slowing down your speech to the point where it is completely under your control, and of breathing to allow your voice to settle to its natural register. A calm, controlled voice where you're in control of the pacing and of the inflection and of the rhythm, and therefore of the structure of the things that you say, will contribute to the sense of gravitas that you bring to any conversation. Breathing is important, so we pause and slow down to make time for that breathing. So too is posture, particularly in the head and neck. If your head and neck extend upwards directly from your upper body, then it opens up your airways and allows you to speak with the maximum clarity, the maximum control, and the maximum flow of breath. And the maximum flow of breath allows you to be heard despite speaking quietly. And that has enormous power. The ability to project your voice without shouting leaves people thinking, I really heard that, and yet she or he didn't have to speak loudly. And that conveys authority too. At the top of the danger list while thinking about gravity is the upwards inflection. Do you see what I did there? By creating an upwards inflection in the tone of my voice, so that at the end of my sentence my voice pitch went up, what it did in English was convert a statement into an apparent question. It converted a statement into an apparent question. Now, sometimes we deliberately want to ask a question and therefore use that upward inflection appropriately. But among some language groups, particularly distinguished by some geographies and by some age groups, people tend to use that upward inflection inappropriately. It converts a powerful commanding statement into a question. And if you convert a powerful commanding statement into a question, then what do? You undermine the statement by appearing to be questioning what you're saying. So stay in control of your inflections. And if you have a habit of using those upward inflections, then learn to control it. Because converting a powerful statement into a question inadvertently will undermine your authority and your gravitas. Third, when you say it eloquently. Choose your vocabulary. And the first and most important thing is to use real and elevated words. I don't mean fancy language, because that can get in the way of people understanding, therefore of trusting you, and can therefore undermine your gravitas. What I mean by elevated language, by real language, is avoiding inappropriate slang. If you say hello instead of hi, if you say yes instead of yeah, if you avoid tag words like you know, sort of, those things can undermine your gravitas. By avoiding them, by using the more elevated forms, you gain control, you gain power, you gain eloquence, and you gain authority. And have you noticed that people with gravitas select their words carefully? They'll never use 50 words when 20 can do. They don't overspeak. They don't repeat themselves. They don't gabble. They think before they speak, and they say what they mean, and they mean what they say. Fourth, when you say it, emphasize the key words. Know what words carry the real impact of your sentence, and drive them home by emphasizing them appropriately. Many people with gravitas are actually softly spoken. Their words don't carry weight because they're shouted out. They carry weight because the important words stand out, and they stand out because the speaker is able to control which words she or he emphasizes. And this is about taking your time. It's about speaking slowly enough and being in control enough to sense when an important word is coming up, and to deliberately control the way that you say that word. And you can slow down, and you can pause before you say it. You can slow down. You can speed up. You can raise the volume, or you can whisper it so that people have to lean in to hear you. Small movements convey economy. Small words convey understanding. And small speeches convey deep insight. Wise people do and say little, but what they do and what they say convey a lot. Finally, when you say it with pace and say it with pauses. Take a measured pace. Gushing suggests gullible, while steady suggests wisdom. And don't raise your voice. If you have presence, if you have gravitas, you don't need to. When you think about people with gravitas, they don't rush, they don't shout. They take their time, they pause when they need to, and they make good eye contact with the people around them. And the final element to this is about timing. It's not just about taking your time, it's about choosing the right time to contribute. For maximum gravitas, wait. If other people are going to say what you would have said, then saying it first wouldn't convey gravitas, because those people will already be thinking, I was going to say that. Therefore, your words have no particular weight with them. When other people have finished speaking, and then you can add something that has genuine insight, what that means is that no one else will have thought of it, and so it will have gravitas. But what if all the points that you might have said have already been said? Well, then you have two choices. First, and a real choice, is to say nothing. If there's nothing more to say, then the right thing to say is nothing. But if you're determined that you need to make a contribution, then find some way to tie all the other contributions together, to summarize or to move the conversation to the next step. The words you use and how you use them are another critical aspect of how you demonstrate gravitas. Once you know your stuff, you've got the depth and the breadth that you need, and you're in control of your posture and your gestures, the next thing to control is your words and your voice. Please give us a thumbs up if you liked this video. There's loads more great management courses content to come, so please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.